Hello everyone, Josh here from Sportitude Running. It is shoe review time, and in front of me I've got the new Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, and to my right I have got the Endorphin Speed 3. So with all my shoe reviews, what we do is we go over the outsole, the midsole, the upper, talk about the changes, profile the person that should be considering this shoe, give you a little bit of my subjective opinion on how the Speed 4 has gone for me, and give you all the information that you need at home to, who knows, maybe make this your next shoe purchase. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. First things first, this shoe and, well, what it was in the Endorphin Speed 3 is an extremely versatile shoe. Nothing has changed. It is sort of targeting that person that's looking for a shoe that they could pick the pace up in, do some interval running, but also doubles down as a shoe that you could certainly put on your foot and get out the door and go for a long run as well. There is a few trade-offs when you do take this shoe over sort of 60 minutes, but again, that's like any shoe, there's always an element of compromise. But we have found the Endorphin franchise, especially the 2 and the 3, to be a very good shoe for those who want to use it for a race day option as well, that may not be able to tolerate the carbon plate or may not have the budget to be spending over 300 Australian dollars on a racing shoe. It is a fantastic shoe. It's accessible under that $300 price point and has all the attributes that you're looking for in a performance shoe. So let's jump into the fun part of today's review. We're going to go all things outsole first. Now, there's not a lot to talk about here. There is a little bit of increased outsole coverage in the new version 4 versus the version 3. So just to the naked eye, it is a bit hard to tell with this pair I've got in front of me here, but there is a slight change with reference to how much outsole is on offer through the Forefoot. So looking at the 4, you can see that the entire Forefoot is covered with this new lattice outsole construction. So what Saucony have done is they've just tried to improve the overall grip and the grab with the ground, and by executing this crisscross lattice construction through the Forefoot, you certainly get plenty of grab on that bitumen surface. Gives you a lot of confidence, obviously, to pick the pace up, and also cornering as well. This shoe has a great grab with the ground. In comparison to last year, of course, I mean, it was absolutely fine. I didn't have any issues, and nor did a lot of our people who've purchased this model, the Endorphin Speed 3. So again, the outsole was relatively covered. A couple of vertical decoupled lines up through the centerpiece through here offered a little bit of weight reduction, but for the most part, the grip on this shoe was absolutely fine. Addressing the back of the shoe, you can see that there's been the strategically placed rubber for those runners who come down heel first. Nothing has changed here in the 4. So for that first point of contact with the ground, that lateral side of the heel, getting good grab, purchase, execution with that rubber outsole. A little bit of exposed power run PB through the midfoot, but as we touched on, for the most part, the outsole is covered well in the Forefoot. A little cutout through here, which is, I like these little features when you can reduce the weight but not sacrifice performance and function of the shoe. You can see that the plated construction, the EVA board, has been strategically injected into this midsole, which you can see through the outsole through here as well. Okay, just jumping to the upper next. Now, Saucony have, I think, put a little bit more time and effort into executing a better upper in Endorphin Speed 4. Addressing a couple of key changes, we have a little bit more breathability through the tongue, and by no means was the Endorphin 3, Speed 3, pardon me, a shoe that didn't offer great breathability. It was a fantastic shoe in that department, but the 4 has a thinner tongue, slightly more open, breathable holes through the Forefoot as well, so that there is a lot more ventilation going through the foot. Great thing about here in Australia is we are smack bang in the middle of our summer. It's very hot. I have used this out on a relatively warm day, around 33 degrees Celsius, and I know a couple of our other team members here have done a couple of sessions in this shoe. And the shoe itself offered plenty of breathability, which is absolutely on point. Couple of little changes again is the shoe itself is still gusseted like we had last year, but you can see the lacing eyelet around the top of your arch. So Saucony have gone just a little bit wider than what they did last year, which is just your traditional eyelet setup. And these little loopholes just offer a little bit more with reference to conformity around the top of your arch. So you can really dial that fit in on top of your navicular around your arch to get a little bit more comfort, or go a little bit tighter if you happen to be a shallow and narrow foot. You can really dial that in up top, which is great. And another little feature again is the heel counter is internal. It's nice and solid, offers the exact amount of support you want at the back of a shoe like this. And considering it's a lightweight shoe, so you're going to pick up the pace in this shoe quite easily, you want to make sure that you've got enough security around the back of your heel to lock that heel in so you don't get unnecessary movement through mid-stance, which then is going to impact your toe off. So the heel counter at the back is very similar in height, subtle change with reference to the execution, and the memory foam, I would say, is almost identical with the amount of comfort you get in that first step in. Next is the midsole. Now, with performance shoes or shoes of this ilk, this is the fun part. So you can see to the naked eye, there is significant change with the overall geometry. Now, Saucony have addressed a couple of areas, not of concern, but of need for improvement with performance. So talking to the statistic first, nothing has changed with reference to the stack height. 36mm on the heel, 28mm on the forefoot for that offset of 8mm. Almost exactly, was exactly the same in last year's Speed 3. Same technology on play, Power Run PB, that PB foam, which is nice, it's resilient, offers enough cushioning, but certainly a very stable and honest foam that allows you to run with confidence when you do pick the pace up, but also offers enough support and overall cushioning in the ride in this shoe when you do happen to float or slow the pace down. You do get a really good experience inside the Endorphin Speed 4, something that has always been of note with this franchise ever since the first iteration that came to market, a very popular shoe, and through the last couple of years they've kept that very honest and very consistent with the overall midsole performance, because that would be the main reason someone is buying this shoe, to get the same output from their midsole. So if you've used Speed 3 previously, you know what the midsole has done for you. I guarantee you'll transition into 4 with no issues. A little bit of a change up with reference to the plated construction. So it is still full length. However, Saucony have called it a winged construction. So what they have attempted to do there is come nice and close, or close enough to the foot with reference to the mid part of this midsole. So on the medial side, you can see the plate is called out with reference to how high or how close to the foot it gets. And the same thing on the lateral side as well. So the winged construction, all it does is offer a little bit more stability through mid-starts, but coming a little bit closer, or a fraction closer to the foot, and almost having a little bit of a convex setup. The angle of approach to the forefoot with this plate is going to allow for a slightly more responsive ride or transition through to your forefoot. And they didn't need to do too much there to make that significant improvement. Just a subtle iteration. You'll notice your shoe to be slightly snappier on toe off than what you would have found the Endorphin Speed 3. The other cool thing about this shoe, the other cool improvement, it does tie into the midsole quite well, is a subtle change with the sock liner. Now, I love a good sock liner. It does help the overall comfort from first step in, but sock liners, I wouldn't say are underrated, but they can be underrated if not executed well. If you take a well-executed sock liner like this and put in a very cheap sock liner into a shoe like the Endorphin Speed 4, I guarantee you it will not give you the same comfort, the same performance benefits as it currently does with this great sock liner. So it is thicker than normal, a little bit thicker than last year's model. And what this is going to do, it's going to improve a little bit of cushioning, but it will allow you to sink into the midsole of this shoe and get that top layer support from the sock liner, which just allows for more comfort in reference to your training. It's going to breathe quite well, but overall experience with that sock liner, yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Saucony and their sock liners. I think they do a fantastic job pretty much across all of their top-end shoes, from your Triumphs to Kinvara Pros, Endorphin Pros, and obviously the Speed 4, just to name a couple. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you find the shoe in first step in to be a bit softer and maybe a little bit more comfortable than what it is in the Speed 3, I would argue that it's a few variables that come into that consideration, but the sock liner is a significant change and a big improvement. Okay, let's talk all things Endorphin Speed 4 and how this shoe has gone for me personally. I've always liked this franchise. It's worked well. It's honest. I love fitting it downstairs here at Sportitude Running. There are so many people that get the benefits of this shoe because it is so versatile across all different categories of running. For me personally, I like it for my pickup runs. Get out the door, want to go for a 30 to 45 minute run, want to pick the pace up, get to that threshold and hold. This shoe is absolutely fantastic. It's fun, it's light, it's responsive, and it's honest, which is a great thing for a shoe like this. So for me personally, I wouldn't use it for any long days, I've got to say, because I don't get enough support out of this shoe. I would certainly gravitate towards the Triumph franchise, or even my Monsters. I love my Cloud Monsters. They're a fun shoe to run in, but I do have my mileage shoes covered. But you could certainly run some distance in this and it would be absolutely fine if you are sort of not requiring too much overall stability and support in your shoes and you're biomechanically pretty sound. It'd be a fun shoe to do some long runs in, that's for sure. One thing I did find with this shoe was when I did pick the pace up in it, I did find the roll through the forefoot, as I've sort of touched on the midsole part of this review, to be slightly more effortless on release. So coming through your mid to toe off region of this gait cycle, I really enjoyed this shoe. It gives gives enough pop through the forefoot. It's nice and comfortable, and it's easy to get your foot in and out of your gait cycle as quick and as easy as possible. And that's a lot to do with the weight of this shoe too. So a men's size 9 is around that 233 grams. Ladies size 7.5 is coming in around 206 grams, almost identical to last season as well. One thing I'd like to add into my subjective opinion is size. True to size. Last year, 9.5. This year, 9.5. So again, if brands do alter their sizing chart for whatever reason, we'd certainly like to make you aware of that. But if you are a 10 or a 10.5, 11, whatever you've been last year in last year's model, you'll certainly be the same in this year's Endorphin Speed 4. To say that this shoe was a pioneer back in the day is an understatement. When the Endorphin Speed franchise hit the market, we all knew what it was going to be, or pardon me, I shouldn't say that. We all didn't expect it to be what it is today. It's a very good shoe. Versatile, as I've touched on a few times. So to give you some context, if you're coming from, let's just say, an Adidas Boston 12, you've enjoyed what that shoe has done for you and you want to try something different, then hey, I'd certainly consider the Endorphin Speed 4. Another shoe to throw in the conversation, which we have been testing right now and we will be reviewing soon, is the ASICS Magic Speed 5. The Magic Speed franchise has had some hits and misses over the years, and that's nothing new to you, the running community, but the 5 is absolutely on point, and I feel will certainly come into very similar conversations to this Endorphin Speed 4. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, if you've got any questions, comments, queries, or theories about this shoe, let us know in the comments section below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we will keep knocking out these shoe reviews for you, the fantastic running community all over the world. If you've been lucky enough to run on a Speed 4, let us know. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you've come from a 3 to a 4, let us know how you've gone. And also, while we're talking Endorphin Speed, why don't you tell me which was your favourite, 1, 2, or 3, or is it the 4? Let us know in that comment section below. Until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and we'll see you on the road. Take care.